That is completely off the ground.
Today I'm going to make an electromagnet out of an old transformer from a microwave and a DC power supply. I bought this on eBay. I think it was 10 pounds, so $12, and this was just a few quid. This is a 12 volt DC 6 amp charger.
First thing is to remove the bottom plate. Just grind through the welds and it'll come right off. So after removing the top, I'm going to work the primary coil out and put that aside for later because that's the one I want. Next, I'm going to grind off this coating so that I can weld all these plates together. The core is made of a bunch of thin laminated sheets. I'm going to weld them together here, which will make the next step easier when I need to cut the core and also to weld on a hook so I can lift things with it. So this is all welded together. I'm gonna let it cool off so I can handle it more easily, and while I do that, I'm gonna forge a hook to weld onto the top to suspend it. I'm just gonna use some round 1/2 inch steel, heat it up, and forge it into a D-ring, basically. Right, so there's the ring. I'll just cut this off and let it cool. So next, I'm gonna cut off the excess here because I just want the coil to fit in and then these to end. And I've welded both sides of where I'll be cutting to keep it all together while I cut it so it comes off in one piece. Throw down one more weld here on the center of the core because it'll be easier to cut off as one solid piece. So now I'll use this bandsaw to cut off the middle piece here because it'll be easier to get to than with a grinder. Okay, so now that has been cut down to a much smaller E. I'm gonna let this cool. While I'm waiting for that, I'll work on the electric side. Attach some crimp connectors to the DC power supply to make it easy to plug into the coil. Right, from here, cut that tip off, strip off the sheathing. Plug this into the wall. This converts the AC power into 12 volts DC at 6 amps. So when you plug it in, the DC power will flow through the coil and it'll generate a magnetic field. And now I'll just test fit the coil into the core I just cut down. This side needs the hook. Doesn't need to be perfect, but roughly straight. So this is finished and ready to try. It's just the shortened steel E from the transformer, welded on hook. The primary coil slots in, and it's powered by a DC power charger. So now that it's ready to go together, I'm just going to clean it up a little so I can glue the two pieces together, wrap it up so it stays nice and protected, and then we'll do some testing. So just to clean up the walls, it doesn't need to be great. Just get anything big off so that the glue can adhere to it. Add some hot glue. Hold that firm while it dries. Just cover it up with tape now just to make it a bit tidier. So I'll make sure that none of the tape sticks up above, but that should stay together pretty well. And now it's ready to go test. So this anvil is about 400 pounds or 180 kilos. So I'll plug this in and give it a lift. Okay. So pretty easily, that did 400 pounds. Now I'll try to add some weight and see what happens. So this is a 38 kilo anvil on top, which is about another 80 pounds, a little more than that. And we'll see what happens. So it's close to 500 pounds now. So here's a solid bar of steel. It weighs about 40 kilos. So we're up to about 260 kilos or a little bit under 600 pounds. Try to get that balanced well. All right. Plug it in and up we go. So I had a bit of trouble with that. So somewhere between 220 and 260 kilos, or about 500 and 580 pounds, the magnet fails. Cheap, easy little experiment to do. I definitely wouldn't trust it lifting around people, anything where anyone could get injured. This is not the product to use. I'm sure there are some decent use cases, but do not use this for lifting equipment. But it is fun to experiment and see how the magnetic field is created around the steel. So, quick, cheap experiment with electromagnetism. Pretty impressed with how much it lifts, 500 pounds or so, 230 kilos, somewhere in that neighborhood. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe and click any of the links to see other projects I've been doing.